Well, we talked about him a moment ago. C.J. McCollum playing his 10th NBA game last night and looking better and more comfortable with every passing game. C.J., thanks for the time joining us here on Trailblazers Courtside. How are you?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Well, we're doing good. And we're talking about you kind of getting baptism by fire right now into the NBA. How are you feeling? I mean, you look like you're getting more and more comfortable, not only with your teammates, which we already knew from a personal standpoint you were, but with your time on the court. Your confidence level seems to be improving.
Yeah, I'm feeling better each night, as I get more reps out there and get used to, the continuity of the offense and kind of where I'm going to get my shots and kind of picking my spots. I'm kind of, feeling more and more comfortable. And it's just a credit to my teammates accepting me and coaches trusting in me and giving me, more time and more room and space to create opportunities.
Last night was your highest minute total, to almost 21 minutes in that game last night. This team is, looking a little tired. So it's one of those situations where you may have to carry even more of the load going forward because, the more guys you can put out there that can be effective, the better the team is across the board.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. We're getting close to that midway point, and All-Star break's approaching, so legs are getting a little heavy, and I think we're going into our 9th game in 13 or 14 days, and it happens to just be my 11th career game, so I'm feeling pretty fresh and looking forward to the opportunity.
What is that like, though? I mean, you go from college where you play a couple of games a week, and it so happens you come back during or you start your career during a stretch of tomorrow night will be 8 games in 12 days. Last night was 7 in 10 days. What is that like physically? I know you guys don't make excuses about it. Nobody talked about it last night, but clearly some guys were pretty worn out and had some dead legs last night. So what is that adjustment like physically for you from college ball to a schedule like this?
Yeah, it's definitely a tough adjustment. Getting in pretty late at night, as you've witnessed it, just traveling with the team and stuff. The biggest difference is, just having to change the scouting report and just move on to each team each night, with, like you said before, legs were a little tired and a lot of excuses we can make, but that's the way the NBA goes. It just happens that it's our road trip and our time. There'll be times down the road where teams are coming into our place on a road trip, and we won't take it easy on them, and nor will we make excuses for them. So I think that's just one of the adjustments to being an NBA player, and I think you guys can attest to it. Even if you don't play in the game, just the travel alone can wear on you.
Absolutely.
See, what's because fans are starting to get to know who you are off the court, but now they want to and get to know you on the court as well. But what's the one thing that when you think about your game, what you bring to the table that fans haven't had a chance to see yet, that you think you can do better to help this team get more victories?
I think I can do a little bit more off the bounce in terms of, creating for guys better. I haven't getting a lot of assists. I think that's a combination of me not asserting myself as much as I need to and just not being in a position to kind of do those things. I think that I'll be able to do that more down the road and then knock down shots at a higher clip. I think my shooting percentage is just floating around. I'm 36 or so from 3, 43 or 44 from the field. And I think that, as I get, more comfortable out there and continue to learn to pick and choose my spots, my three-point percentage was selling around 40.
We always talk about first unit, second unit, like, they only play at the same time. And clearly Coach Stotts sprinkles in the bench, with the starters. But what is it like to be able to come in and play with a vet like Mo Williams, who's been around as long as he has, an all-star, for the East a few years ago with Cleveland? How easy is it to come in, because sometimes you think about, okay, here come the young guy. Well, Mo's a guy who's seen a lot in this league, and he's played well lately. And the Minnesota game comes to mind. You and he and the rest of the bench really carried the night when the starters maybe were a little winded, a little bit tired. Talk about your relationship with Mo and what it's like to play with him on the floor.
Mo's been huge for not only myself but the team, throughout the course of the year, with helping mentor guys on and off the court, kind of putting us in different positions to succeed. I think he does a great job of professionalism and kind of showing you, how to be a pro, how to last in the league with, the same routine every day. I kind of, pick and choose different parts of his game in terms of how he, prepares. He's in the training room at the same time. He's getting stretched, he's brushing his teeth. You got to kind of put yourself in a position to succeed by, taking each day, in stride. I think he's on the court. He's a leader. He's a guy that can get guys in spots. Obviously, he can score. I think his pace is what really helps the team. We get out and run. Defensively, I'm trying to, crank it up and make sure I'm getting into guys and not giving up points. plus minus is huge for the bench, and we try to, leave the court, on the plus side. I think he's a huge, credit to our team success and how we changed the pace of the second unit.
You mentioned something just now, CJ, and we talked about this a little bit last night. Defensively coming in, I don't think people recognize how good a defender you are. But, I've noticed that you do a great job of moving your feet. You use your hands as much as you can at the NBA level without getting fouls called on you. How important is it for you to have a well-rounded game both sides of the ball?
I think it's going to be instrumental in my development as an NBA player. Coming in as a guy that can score the basketball, the one that knocks on me was obviously size, strength, and defense. So I've made that a focal point, a point of focus in terms of not hurting the team. Obviously I can knock down shots and do some things with the ball, but on the defensive end, that's where you kind of separate yourself and help your team win games and win in the playoffs. So. As a smaller guy, growing up, I've always been good with my hands in terms of, getting deflections or guys try to post you up. They have to bring the ball up and trying to get the ball on the way up. So that's one of the things I really focused in on, and hopefully I can continue to get better and learn as I go through this treacherous schedule of guarding Ginobili and James Harden and all those guys.
The one thing, the area that they've compared you and Damian to, and we did at draft time, is the fact that you guys were four-year guys, mid-major schools, but mature guys. Can you imagine, do you ever think what it would have been like had you been like a one and done and come in 3 years ago into the – people always talk about guys like Lance Stevenson or somebody for Indiana who, he comes into the league and kind of has a couple of years and people are going, oh, okay. Now all of a sudden he's where, you would be now is coming into the NBA and having those years under your belt. So do you think about how difficult it would have been to come in after just 1 year in college? And what did that mean to you as far as your growth mentally, having the time you had in school before the NBA?
Well, from a mental standpoint, I think the 4 years helped shape me into the person I am today. In terms of going through different obstacles and having to balance the academic workload at a prestigious university like Lehigh. That was tough. 9-to-1 professor to student ratio. So obviously class was a priority, but also trying to balance your time and getting in the gym. I don't think I would have been ready, for the NBA life on and off the court. I haven't gone to 1 year, and I credit guys that make a successful transition, without staying in college longer, because I know I wouldn't have been ready physically or mentally just because of, what's demanded of you. People think that, you just play basketball or you just travel and have fun. It's literally a job where as a rookie you have to be in early, you got to be in the court early, got to get your treatment, you have to stay late, and then, take, for instance, the road trip. This is my first time playing in-game action, obviously, but, as a two guard in this league, you're going to have to guard the best players offensively. And you can have a great offensive night one night, but then have a night where somebody goes off for, 10, 15 and a quarter, and you're guarding them. So you got to be able to, stay even kill and, not get too high, not get too low, and kind of just ride the wave.
CJ, you talked about off the court. You talked about how college shaped your personality. You have a lot of things, and you are becoming a personality, man. You're developing your own radio show on Sirius. Talk to Blazer fans about some of the things you're doing away from basketball to help develop the brand that is CJ McCollum.
Oh, man, I'm doing a lot of stuff now. Now that I'm on the court, I'm trying to take advantage of some different opportunities I have with journalism and the sports broadcasting aspect of things. I actually got a blog that's going to be starting up with Grantland, doing some stuff with NBA.com where I have an ongoing series of interviews that I'll conduct with NBA executives and different personnel around the league. I actually just finished doing an interview with Sal LaRocca. He's in charge of the merchandising with the NBA, jersey sales, all that stuff. He's the executive director of that. And then obviously the radio show I just launched last week on Sirius Radio on channel 217. For all you that are interested in listening, it'll air every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern. So, I have some things in the works, but obviously basketball is my priority. At the same time, you have to put yourself in a position to be successful once your career ends, and I look forward to capitalizing on the opportunity.
Finally, CJ, all the talk for, especially after the quick start the team got off to and exceeding expectations and having to reset expectations all the time, seemingly. Chemistry was what was talked about, is what fueled the early season run following the opening night loss in Phoenix, and you guys take off after that. I know you don't have anything professionally to compare it to necessarily, but what has it been like, the brotherhood, the camaraderie, and how tight this locker room is? Has it surprised you a little bit from what you expected your first year in the NBA would be like?
It surprised me a little bit because I didn't really know what I was getting myself into coming into the NBA. As a rookie on a somewhat young team where we have some veterans sprinkled in now due to some different transactions. And then you have a lot of young guys with experience. But I'm definitely surprised at how close everyone is, how guys do the things together off the court. Guys, instead of always falling asleep on a plane, guys conversate, talk about things, go out to dinner. Whereas a lot of older teams, they don't hang around the practice facility, and regardless of how nice it is. A lot of teams are in and out, whereas we have guys that stay and eat, talk to each other, do things that were more commonly known to happen in college or high school.
Well, the tough stretch coming up, Memphis tomorrow night and then another long road trip. And, people around the country are saying, okay, now Portland 9-7 in their last 16. They've leveled off. We thought this was going to happen. You guys talk about that in the locker room? I mean, you want to protect the early season cushion you built with another surge here before the break?
No, we don't really discuss. I had no idea we were 9-7 out of our last 16. But it's one of those things where you just want to make sure that, we're working hard every day, not getting content, but also not listening to the whispers, because people didn't expect us to, come out as strong as we did. So naturally, they're going to doubt us when we have a couple of losses. But it's a long season, and there's going to be some times where we, go 2-2 on a road trip or do those type of things. But we just want to continue to build and make sure that we're peaking at the right time, and that's in, April, May.
Well, CJ, appreciate the time. As always, get some sleep tonight because I know that these off nights don't happen often. We appreciate you spending some time with us on one of the rare off nights. And, anytime you're welcome to come by the studio and we'll pop a headset on you maybe this summer some. I know you like the business, you like the industry. You talked about journalism, broadcasting. Always got a spot here, my friend.
All right, I appreciate it. I'll definitely take you up on that.
Okay.
I will be in soon.
Love to see it. We'll talk to you tomorrow, CJ. Appreciate the time.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right, C.J. McCollum, Trailblazers rookie, and the bench is gonna have an increasing role, and C.J. certainly will have a part of that. And we've already seen a nice relationship develop between he and Mo as he talked about coming in that second unit.